exactly sure how it all began, but at first I thought it was simply my vivid imagination at play. However, things took a turn for the worse. I'm convinced I'm being haunted, and it's pushing me to the brink. Let me just cut to the chase and share the story with you. My friend has schizophrenia, which isn't about having different personalities. That's dissociative identity disorder. Schizophrenia involves things like auditory and visual hallucinations. Depending on its severity, medication can help manage it, or so she's explained. However, this situation began because her doctors took her off the medication to observe her reaction. 3 days later, she was at my house watching TV in my room. I've become used to her condition, how she might glance around the room during a conversation or seem to ignore you because she's focusing on a hallucination. While she was there, her gaze shifted gradually from casually glancing around to fixating on a corner in my room. Curious, I asked what she saw, and she initially brushed it off as nothing. I accepted that until she began crying. When I inquired again, she confessed, "There's a girl in your corner crying blood." I tried to reassure her it was just a hallucination, advising her to disregard it, but the moment I said that, her eyes filled with terror, leaving me stunned. She warned me not to say such things, claiming it angered the girl. I attempted to reassure her, smiling and shaking my head, emphasizing that the girl wasn't real and couldn't harm me. However, my friend turned away from me, returning her gaze to the corner, where she began sobbing uncontrollably. Later that night, I lay in bed, restless and unable to sleep for obvious reasons. Just as I was considering playing some music, I heard my cat meowing from the living room. Curious, I headed out to check on her. I discovered her fixated on a dark corner, her fur standing on end and emitting quiet hisses. It sent shivers down my spine, but I crouched down to comfort her. Strangely, she remained unresponsive to my touch, her focus unwavering on that corner. As I began to retreat to my room, she suddenly let out a piercing shriek, the kind that comes from a startled or hurt cat. My heart raced as I turned back, only to find nothing. She had vanished. What troubled me more was that she should have scampered into the kitchen, yet I didn't hear her paws on the hardwood floor. Confused and attributing it to sleep deprivation, I made my way back to my room. But my departure was interrupted by an eerie sound, like a knife being drawn from its sheath, echoing from behind me. I whirled around, only to find the knives untouched. Convinced I was hallucinating due to fatigue, I hurried to my room. However, my path was halted by a tapping noise from the living room. Frozen in the middle of the room, my gaze fixed on the large window beside the front door. The curtains were closed but slightly ajar, allowing me to glimpse a pale, white hand tapping against the glass. Without a second thought, I bolted for my room, slamming and locking the door behind me. I huddled in the corner of my room, tucked into the corner of my bed, clutching the blankets over my head. My heart raced, breaths heavy and fast. Then came the distant thuds, faint at first but growing louder and closer. I pressed against the wall, the outer wall of the house, as the thudding intensified until it felt right behind me. Then, silence enveloped everything except the frantic rhythm of my heart and breath. Adjacent to my bed was another sizable window, shielded by a heavy curtain. Summoning my courage, I cautiously emerged from under the blankets, just enough to peel back the curtain and peer outside. Darkness greeted me, nothing but bushes in sight. I edged the curtain further, and the thudding resumed, deafening in its intensity. Checking my room to confirm I was alone, I returned my focus to the window, only to be met by a pale, ghostly face, a girl with gaping black eyes oozing blood. The next thing I knew, I woke up the following morning, my cat peacefully snoozing beside me. Since that night, she's appeared relentlessly, haunting me in every dark corner. Every single night, I see her lurking. I'm certain she's real because she murdered my friend, the one who had schizophrenia. They found her lifeless, drowned in a pool of blood, eyes bleeding out. I fear the same fate awaits me soon. I pray it concludes with me. It's currently 4 in the morning, and she's out there. The incessant thudding persists, and so does she.